Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to our channel. On this week's episode we continue our Roadless travel series and we're kicking it all off in the iconic town of Gundagai. So go and get yourself a cold drink and get your feet up for the next 20 minutes or so. Come and join Ali and I for the adventure. Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Alison.
We decided a couple of years ago that we'd work hard and save all of our money and start living life on our own terms.
So we bought a caravan and hit the road on a trip for two all around Australia.
So why not come and join us every week for our adventures? Ellie and I just drove down the absolute steepest hill I think we've ever taken the caravan down before, here in bloody Gundagai. So we've just stopped off to get some water before we head off to a free camp. It's probably about 2 minutes away from here. It looks like a great place to stay, doesn't it, El?
It does look like a very nice place to stay. It's got everything you need, dump point, water point.
Anyway, let's get off to the free camp. We'll check it all out. Just like we said in the intro, we've come to stay in Gundagai for a couple of days as we make our way further into southern New South Wales. We found ourselves a beautiful free/donation camp here. We're certainly going to make a donation because it's a great facility that Gundagai has offered. This place is called Morley River RV Park. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a short walk into town. You can stay here for 48 hours, but you do need to be self-sufficient. So make sure you've got water on board, which you can get in town before you come down. And of course, you're going to need a toilet because there's no other facilities down here. Great place to stay, very quiet of a night, plenty of sun for the solar, lots of trees for shade. So yeah, it seems to have it all. It's a beautiful spot here at Morley Creek. If you come and stay, there's some gnarly old trees. Check out this bugger right here. That is huge, that thing. That must have been here for well over a century. But the highlight of the area is the old railway line that you can see running across the field there. I think that was the line that linked Sydney to Melbourne back in the day. It's certainly not used today. But I'm going to run the drone along it and see what it looks like. One of the great things when you come and stay down near Morley Creek is just the cattle come around. They're quite good to watch when they're just walking around. There's a couple of little calves here today. And the old wives' tale that I heard many years ago is when the cows sit down, it's going to rain. We'll find out this afternoon. Just going for a bit of a walk into town. As you come away from the camp zone, you'll find this sign here which tells you about the different flood levels that have been in town over the years. There's also a plaque here to a guy who saved 49 people during some floods. But 1853, highest flood level on record. I reckon that one would have flooded the town for sure. When you come into Gundagai, make sure that you stop and you take time to have a look at this statue. It's of Yarri and Jackie. Yarri is also known as the hero of Gundagai. During the Great Flood of 1852, he was able to save 49 people's lives. Here's the kicker, he can only do them one at a time, so he had to constantly put himself in danger to go out, get them and bring them back. Unfortunately, 75 people did lose their lives, and up until, and there's a little bit of conjecture about this when you read different signs in town, either Cyclone Tracy or the Ash Wednesday bushfires, this was the biggest natural disaster in Australia's history. If you decide you want to come to Gundagai, don't forget to pop into the Visitors Information Centre. You'll find it located in the library at the moment. It's a temporary location until they rebuild the new one. But just opposite is a fantastic park here for the kids to come and play in. This is something I really love about these old towns, is this bakery has stood here since 1864. That's absolutely amazing, and I'll be into trying their pies later on. I'm not 100% sure what design of house this is, but we see these everywhere that we go, particularly in country areas. But this is my absolute favourite style of house that I see anywhere that we go. I absolutely love them. Criterion looks like a good old Aussie pub. I just said to Alison, do you reckon they celebrate Australia Day at this one? I'm sure they do. How cool is the Prince Alfred Bridge that's behind me? It's a real testament to the engineering of the time. All made of wood, supported trains, well over 100 years old. Still stands today. You couldn't run a train along it anymore, but it's a great reminder of our past and what was achieved to open the country up. This is the old jail here in Gundagai. This was used as a jail up until 1902. And then it discontinued being a prison but become a lockup, which it remained in place until the 1970s before it was eventually closed. You can come and do a tour of this. This is a little bit weird. The prison has the same fence as the church. Just a little bit shorter at the church. Well, you can't say that you visited Gundagai unless you've been out and visited the iconic dog which sits on the Tuckerbox. There's still some conjecture today as to whether he's 5 miles or 9 miles from Gundagai. There is a storyboard here that you can have a read through, but I'll let you make up your own mind on that. There's plenty of historical stuff to look at, including the ruins of the old 5 Mile Hotel when you're here. And of course, there's somewhere you can put your dog poo. While we're here visiting the dog on the Tuckerbox, I found a piece of equipment which I had no idea what it is, but just through a little bit of deduction, and I'll cut in some pictures of it while I'm talking, I think it might have been some sort of mechanical horse walker. Now, I could be, as I said, well and truly off base, but to me it looks like there's a motor here that drives it, and then that spins around that post that you can see in the centre of the circle, and yeah, just tie the horse to it and walk them around. If I'm 100% wrong and you know what it is, hit me up in the comment section. I just got off the phone with my son, and when we lived down here in the Wagga region many years ago, we used to regularly stop at the dog on the Tuckerbox. In fact, I think he was about 4 years old and he always used to insist upon it, but we'd stop here and there was always somewhere you can come and get something to eat, get fuel and do all those sorts of things. But I tell you what, a lot of things have changed since he was 4 years old, a lot of things. Anyway, it's still very popular to come and see the dog on the Tuckerbox. I think since we've been here, what do you reckon now, maybe 10 cars have pulled in?
It's quite popular.
Yeah, it is. And you get the opportunity to make a small donation to the Gundagai Hospital while you're here, and that was the original reason that the statue was put here back in the 1930s. So while you're here, make sure you flick a coin into the wishing well. You never know, you might have a little bit of luck. What'd you wish for, Al?
It's a secret. You can't tell people your wishes.
Well, Ellie and I have left Gundagai and we've come to an absolute beautiful campground. This one's just outside of Tumbarumba in southern New South Wales. It's actually on the western slopes of the Snowy Mountains. This one's called Henry Angel Flats. It's a part of the, or the start of, the Human Hovel walking track, but it's a great free camp. You can come here, you can stay as long as you like, but if you want to stay for longer than 5 days, you've got to get yourself a permit. You can get yourself one of those in Tumbarumba. That would be the closest spot to get it. You also need to be self-sufficient when you come down here. Having said that, there are barbecues down here. There's also toilets and there's access to some water as well. So that makes you comfortable. You stay a little bit more comfortable. And the other thing is it's just, as far as the eye can see, beautiful green grass. Go and throw your van or your camper trailer or your tent out and just come and enjoy a bit of clean mountain air.
I thought I'd just point this out, the danger of camping under trees. This tree that you see in front of you here, this actually fell down yesterday afternoon. I never got an opportunity to film it as it fell. I was just sitting outside and I heard one crack, and it wasn't a real loud crack, and then I heard the whole tree come over. You know, had we been parked over here, that whole tree would have come down and that would have crushed the car or one of us, which is, yeah, just a very dangerous thing to do. So just be mindful when you come out in the bush. Just make sure you check around. Look for deadfall. Look at the tree here behind it. You can see there's big dead branches on it. And in the summer, these sorts of gum trees, they do throw their branches and they can be very, very dangerous to stay under.
So we're just out for our afternoon walk this afternoon. And something I didn't mention yesterday, but I'll just include now, there's two sides to this campground. So if you're coming from Tumbarumba, Google Maps will bring you right to the turn off, and that's the side that we're on. But if you go across the bridge, you'll see another dirt track just on the opposite side of the bridge, and you can access that as a further part of the campground, and it's just as beautiful on this side as what it is on the other. In the place where we're staying at the moment at Henry Flats, there's wombats about. We haven't been lucky enough to see one yet, although we're on wombat watch all of the time. But we did just find some burrows. So here's one here. I just don't think anyone's lived in that one for a little while, but we'll keep our eye open. So we've come into Tumbarumba this morning. Just going to go for a quick walk around town, give you a look around. Alright, so we just come into the township of Tumbarumba, and a big tip if you are coming into town, because it's a great town just to walk around, isn't it?
It is quite a pretty little town.
Very old world, and once again it has a few of the signs up that tell you what used to be there many, many years ago. But definitely drop in at the visitors centre. There's a little museum in there. You can look at some of the history of the town in there, because it's very rich in gold and timber and railways.
Yes.
And the lady inside the information centre, well, for us today, was very knowledgeable, wasn't she?
She was. She was a local, and she certainly gave us some good tips.
She certainly did. And from that we found out there's a sculpture trail in town, there's a Pioneer Women's Lodge, and there's also a rail walk that you can do. So there used to be a railway line that went from here to Wagga, which is about 130, 140 k's away. That's closed down many, many years ago now, but they've turned it into the rail trail, and it's very popular amongst cyclists. And if you don't have a bike, you can hire them in the main street of town.
Yeah, I was going to say they have a bicycle shop. Not only can you buy, but you can hire, and I thought it was a great idea.
It certainly is. So we're going to check out the ladies' hut, and then we'll probably go down and have a look at the sculpture trail, and then I'm going to go and find a pie at the local bakery.
He's found the bakery.
Oh, I found the bakery, all right. My stomach's telling me I'm put on a few kilos, but you know, you got to live. All right, so we've come to the Pioneer Women's Hut. Oh, sorry, I'm laughing because I had to turn around and read the sign 9 times because I kept on saying the wrong name all the time, and Alison's under constant attack by flies.
No,
but we're
it wasn't.
We're going to press on. We come out here, we're going to have a look at it. It's a tribute to women who've lived out in the districts and in the country for years, and the sorts of things that they've done to keep the family afloat, isn't it?
It is, and what their journey, I think, in rural Australia.
Yeah, so that's going to be really interesting to go and see. But before we go and look at any of that, I've just spied an echidna walking over here near the bush. We're going to go over and take a picture of him first. I don't know if I'm going to be quick enough for this, but there's a little echidna walking across the grass here. Let's go over and check him out. Look at him.
It's beautiful.
So the Pioneer Women's Hut is definitely worth a stop over. It shows you a lot of things from yesteryear, I suppose. But what I think what it highlights the most is that they made do with what they had, and what they didn't have they saved to make sure they could use it in the future. And some very interesting things that you see around here, particularly the way they made old rugs and that sort of stuff, and you know, yeah, just the way that they got about life. What do you think, Al?
It's very good. Some things from when I was a child I can certainly remember, and you know, waste not, want not. We were always very thrifty.
So besides the other cool things that you get to see when you come out to the Women's Pioneer Hut, there's also, and this was totally unexpected, the world's largest gum leaf on display. Check this bugger out. 79.8 centimetres long. That is huge. An early form of van life. Check this old caravan out. It's got the louver windows. I think it's a painted wood surface to make it look like it's made from aluminium. Looks like an old dunny door on the back there, but I bet you it was comfortable for the time. And judging by that piping at the top there, I bet you had a little fire going inside as well. So the building we're standing at the moment is the Old Manus Post Office. I've got to say, we've been in some prison cells that are bigger than this, haven't we? In different places that we've been to. This is absolutely tiny.
It's compact.
Yeah, it served the community for over 50 years. Yeah, it's really interesting to come and see. It's just got a little bit of old memorabilia in it, because it also worked as the switchboard for the telephone service, the whole lot. So I'll give you a quick look around. So you can see the switchboard still in there, fireplace. Yeah. We were coming past the turnoff and we saw the start of the rail trail. Now this is a bike ride, you can come out and do it.
Yes.
And it's a ride between Tumbarumba and, I can't remember the name of the other place, Rosewood. Rosewood, yeah, sorry, I just had to look up and read on the sign up there. It's a gentle ride, 21 kilometres, all of the track's been removed and they replaced it with a bitumen pathway. But yeah, it'd be a great thing to come and see and do.
It would be.
And it follows the path of the old railway line, obviously, that used to exist here many, many years ago. But there's some other information you can read about when you come up here to the start of the rail trail. There's even an old engine that you can go and check out. The building here behind me is the old barracks for the rail people when they were travelling. So this is where like the engine guys and all that would stop if they're doing an overnighter and they'd sleep in here. It was donated back to the Tumbarumba Historical Society in 2019 and it was done up and placed here by the men's shed. I tell you what, they bred them tough back in the day. You think about the equipment that we used to dig tunnels and make railways and stuff today. Check out these photos. All of this done, all of this railway line between here and Wagga was built with pick and shovels. Some hard yakka there. So the Tumbarumba Rail Trail is a great place to come and visit. As we said a little bit earlier, you can go down to the centre of town, hire yourself a bike and knock yourself out, can't you?
If you're so inclined, yes.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing it today, but yeah, certainly worth the ride. And there's a lot of photos up that show you what the ride looks like. There's some beautiful scenery along the way, lots of old tunnels and bridges and all sorts of things, exactly the same route as the train used to take. Sporting Oval is Tumbarumba's portion of the sculpture trail for this area, or the Snowies area. So we're just going to go for a bit of a walk around the oval now and check a few out. So that was a little bit of the sculpture trail here in Tumbarumba, but it runs throughout the entire Snowy Valley in all of the little towns and districts that make up the region. It's a great thing to come and do if you want to do it. Yeah, if you want to get some information on it or grab a map, just drop into one of the info centres when you come up and visit the Snowy Valley.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. We really hope that you enjoyed it. Come and join us next week as we continue our adventure in the Tumbarumba region and we take a drive through the beautiful snowy mountains. If you've never done the snowy mountains in the summer, you really need to see next week's episode. We think you're going to be genuinely surprised. It is a beautiful part of Australia to visit. If you like today's episode, make sure you give us a like before you go. And if you've got any questions, hit us up in the comments section. And of course, as usual, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please consider doing so because it really allows our channel to grow. But until next Saturday at 7 o'clock, you guys have yourselves a great week. We can't wait to see you. We'll see you then.
Oh, I can see his doodle.